Both sides getting, well, we got an average of 215 and 220, so, yeah, there's not much between them. But now, Rogue, we're going to kick this one off, and let me give you the honor of starting this one.
Well, thanks for that, TosspoT. Looks like 3, 2, 1, and match is underway. Fight goes the call, a little bit of lag there, back in the game, 14:55 on the clock, and we've got the Australian team as allies. They're pushing up towards the tank old Gold Rush. We've got a few going around to the side entrance, the old command post. Knight gets a grenade kill, follows up with a rifle grenade, and some big kills there from the Knight. Well, thank you.
Next Australian team connect and a European team connect, and the net code just about holds out. Both sides getting, well, we got an average of 215 and 220, so, yeah, there's not much between them. But now, Rogue, we're going to kick this one off, and let me give you the honor of starting this one.
Well, thanks for that, TosspoT. Looks like 3, 2, 1, and match is underway. Fight goes the call, a little bit of lag there, back in the game, 14:55 on the clock, and away. 3, 2, 1, and match is underway. Fight goes the call, a little bit of lag there, back in the game, 14:55 on the clock, and we've got the Australian team as allies. They're pushing up towards the tank old Gold Rush. We've got a few going around to the side entrance, the old command post. Gets a grenade, follows up with a rifle grenade, and some big kills there from the European team. This Australian push still stuck around on the side, TosspoT.
Yeah, it is. We've got 3 players out there. The cop pushes forward right on the spawn time, and the Australians now charge on in. 40's going to down Butchie. If he can pick up a Gib, he'll get him out for the full spawn, but no, Tekor will go in and pick up that revive. And now, in comes Iceman 34 with that Thompson. Rico going to launch in, follow it up, and will claim one. Will they get the second? Yes, the Australian team are really ripping through this Gold Rush defense. There's only Urtu left at that tank, but do the Australians have an engineer? Yes, his name is 40. He's going to repair that tank. And wow, what a stop for the Australians as they steamroll through this first stage Gold Rush defense.
They certainly have. It looks like 40's take connection interrupted, and oh dear, Hans Molman, HM, sloppy play there, crouched down near the tank, and took out 40 with the landmines there. He just moved off those landmines, but now the tank has been stolen. Europeans on a bad spawn there, couldn't recover as 40 had to struggle to get that tank up there. Pushing towards the barrier now, TosspoT trying to get that up.
Yeah, the Europeans will get that up, and they needed that because the speed that first stage went down, they are all over the place in terms of fixing this. Marv is going to push forward. HM is going to pick himself up the frag and Gib. Cont is just patrolling on the top level of the balcony overlooking that tank barrier. Nothing moving just yet. Tank repaired. 40 is manning the MG on top of that. Butchie will go down as Tekua and Shaggy and 40, they are all exchanging frags. A 5 for effect going down at that barrier for the Europeans. And they'll just slow down the Australian assault there. Well, this will give the Europeans a time to regroup because they need to, because the Australians are picking up a lot of frags.
Yeah, it's been a great start from the Australians. We're just under 13 minutes, 12 minutes 55 now for those syncing up with ETTV. Plenty of sponsors here. Go to gamestv.org. As the Australians getting a plant down, looks like Shaggy playing engineer, drop grenades and grenades, spamming him. Butch pushes down, but 40 picks up the ground kill. Taken down now. Nice work. And the Europeans just holding around that barrier. The plant is going to disappear into the ground, and Australians, after a great start, have really lost the momentum now.
Yes, they have, and the question is, where are the Europeans going to pick this? Where are the Australians going to pick this one back up from? And it looks like they're mounting a lot of attacks going back via the ammo and health packs, and then coming from around the reverse of the European defense. But Tekua has been quick to spot that. There's a yellow dynamite in. I don't know if that's going to get armed. 40 is in a world of trouble, about half health, and he's got Cod above him. And Cod's going to pick up the frag on Shaggy. Haste self-kills out, and 40, will reverse around and just lay that Garand frag down upon Cod. And 40's yellow dynamite has expired, but as Hans Molman pushes on up, he's going to go down to the hands of Butchie. And, well, I thought that might just allow dynamite to go in, and yes, Shaggy's going to put it in. And the Australian machine, cut down. Shaggy's not going to go in. 40's going to get shot down as he goes in for the arm, and it's all on Haste to pick up the revive. Not going to happen. And the Europeans shut down that Australian attack once again.
Beautiful work there. 11:36 on the clock right now, and the Europeans shutting down these attacks. We've had a few dynamites go down at the barrier, but so far there have been no plants on that barrier. And now we've got Knight pushing up to the Australian spawn. Rifle nade there from Knight. Just waiting for the Australians. No kills so far. We've got a couple pushing down behind the tank. Shaggy there as an engineer. He's behind him as a medic. They're going to push down the tank road, try and get a plant out, but it's tough work for the Aussies at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. The Australians are just dogged down at this barrier, which is a shame because, frag for frag, they don't seem to be struggling against the Europeans. And that first stage showed that they really can do it. But one element that the European game has certainly grown in the past 12 months is that element of locking down tight situations with grenades, fire for effects, rifle nade. It comes under the good old category of spam, and the Europeans are more than capable of spamming out their opponents right now, as 40 will go down to a landmine and rifle nade kill right on cue. It's Shaggy going to try and get that dynamite planted, but he's cut down by Tekwa. On the other side of the map, though, we've got Haste, Hans Moman, Rico, and Iceman all picking up frags. The Australians really moving forward here, and 40 now is going to come back to get that dynamite down. And I gotta say, I do like, from the Australian side, this rotated spawn. 40 is spawning in the first allied spawn, and the Australian team really are changing up where their players are coming from, which is somewhat new to a European eye.
Well, I think they have to at the moment, because the Europeans are just walking down that barrier. We've had a few guys up the top of the bridge near the command post for quite a while as Erdia gets an arty on Hans Moment and is taken down. And Australia really struggling to get a full push happening in TosspoT.
Yeah, they've got the dynamite down on that tank barrier right now with 9 minutes and 45 to go. And what a different situation this is for the Europeans. Oh, Knight's going in for them to defuse. Shaggy comes in, rifle nade will finish him off, but Knight has been picked back up. Hans Moman will push on in and pick up the frag, as now we have Hans Moman moving around. He's got shot down, but he did take off poor Marv's hat whilst pushing on in there. And we'll see Knight going back for the defuse, and with 5 seconds to spare, he gets it. He puts the landmines back in. And, the Australians are now slowly moving back forward. Iceman and Rico coming up. There's Haste coming up with a frag and revive. Iceman's been picked back up, as now they'll move on in. Butchie will be downed as the Australians now move around. And, what a different story this is. First stage went very, very quickly for the Australians as they pushed forward. But now the Europeans have penned this one back, and the Australians are fighting for just the even possibility of setting a time right now.
They certainly are. It's almost an embarrassment at the moment for the Australians after their great start. The plant has gone down, 8:45 on the clock, and there's just over 20 seconds on that dynamite. The Allied team takes down the command post, but they haven't got a touch on it. Looks like Knight's going to be up there, gets a touch on the command post, so Australia won't be able to build that for a while.
No, they won't. The dynamite is in. Butchie is patrolling it, as we have Rico around there as well. So it does look like that dynamite's going to go. The tank is going to move on past it, unless that fire for effect has anything to say about it. Knight's moving on in here. Could he go for that cheeky rebuild? No, he's not. Knight's double grenade, and Kot's... Oh, it all blows up there. Knight double grenade. Kot coming up with artillery, and the support from Ertir will come on in. Ertir picks himself up an MP40 frag as in the mix as well, and so the Australians reduced down to just one man alive. They've respawned up, and I'm going to have Shaggy go in behind that tank. He's repairing it right now. He's got Thompson cover from behind, and he will go that tank. Shaggy right behind it as Rico will come up. Thompson frag downing Marv. Urjit and Tekwa will push on in, and the Australians, that machine is moving again.
It is indeed. It's just passing under the bridge there, past the command post. The tank taken down, but it has got past the barrier, so that's the start for the Australians. And Knight has been the man with the clutch plays from the engineer. And Zakora, I think, nuked him up a bit. Team killed him, then was killed on Knight's landmine just before he revived him. That allowed the Australians to move that tank through. And 7:20 on the clock. They're right up against it, TosspoT.
They are up against it, and it's interesting to see how influential Knight has been playing engineer in this game, because, usually, whilst Knight is an engineer, he's also the multi-class man, as he's one of the most lethal players with an SMG, and also with the Panther. So it's interesting to see him revert back to a very disciplined engineer role, once again, Knight showing off just how good he is at this game. Support fire is going to tick down 1, 2, nicely done. 40 and Haste will both go down, and that tank will suffer as well. Shaggy's moving around, he's being chased down, but we'll get that built. But Alante will pick him up. Oh no, the Kot's grenade that picks him off. It looks like that tank is going to be left stationary unless Hans Mollman can have anything to say about it. And he does, as he moves that tank just a little bit further, but it still needs a repair. 6:33 to go, Rogue, and, the Australians, can you see them setting a time?
Well, I certainly hope so. There's definitely enough time, but this game has been a tale of two stories, really. The first stage, Australians just blitzed the Europeans, and now they've had a real struggle. Haven't even got the tank into position yet, where just centimetres away as Shaggy comes in, gets taken down. Once again, copying up a crucial kill there. Nice work from him. He's been impressive tonight too.
He has is going to make his way back up the tank slope. Will just lend his grenade forward. Fire for effect is in. That'll hit this Aussie attack right in the heart as Shaggy will go down. He was, in fact, the only man that didn't spot that fire for effect and ran into it, as now 40 will come up with a Garand frag, downing Knight before Tekla avenges the death as Knight goes in on that command post. We'll rebuild it right now, and the Europeans are picking up every little objective right now, including that command post. Shaggy comes up with a double Thompson frag right after Utir comes up with a double Sten, as we have these two teams just exchanging frags. And it's got to be said, ping with the pings being what they are, 203 to 217 on the averages between the two sides. I'm impressed by the fact the Australians really are not struggling against this European side shot for shot wise. It just seems to be teamwork and getting the objective done.
Yeah, that's right. I think Knight's been instrumental as the engineer. You called it, some great work from Knight. So just over 5 minutes left, and the Europeans, they're really just ramboing forward now. We've got a few players up around the bridge. They've rebuilt that command post. So the Europeans in a dominant position at the moment. I think maybe it's the terrible tags from Australia, those green and yellow stars, not doing it for me.
Oh, I liked them actually. I thought they were kind of original, but I guess not. As the tags may be what's holding back this Australian team. And, well, the Europeans have pushed forward, even with a mobile MG, which is, obviously something we don't see in most competitions, and even the position that the Europeans have taken up. I mean, I can't remember the time I've ever seen a mobile MG on Gold Rush, other than maybe when you got that tank and with someone sitting down just above the truck barrier. But, I mean, really, there is... the Europeans are pushing forward and playing with the Australians, and they don't want to do that too early, as the Australians pick up two frags there. Utir and Marvel onto back, 40 getting in on this, and that tank still lays dormant on the bridge. And what can the Australians do? I mean, 40's going to go in and get that tank, but do you expect to see a rallying call from the Australians?
I'm hopeful occasionally if you can get a good spawn here at this stage before the Axis team can set up around the bank. There's always hope, so I haven't given up on them just yet, TosspoT, but they're certainly in a precarious position.
Yes, they are, as we have the back doors blown wide open, fire for effect launched down and towards the middle. If the Australians can collect that command post, which thus far they have only been able to destroy it, not rebuild it, then they may be able to push forward. 40 goes in towards that command post. He's got next to no HP, as Rico's going to make his way in. Haste is just beneath, and the three of them will converge on that command post, as the Australians will give themselves a shot at the objective. They're going to have to take down that truck barrier as well, though. Butchie Hayes picking up frags as they go. Allied team destroy the command post, and two engineers will pick it up, and the Australians are back on the road, that road ends in 3 minutes, so they've not got long to try and get that objective away.
No, they don't, and we've really been lacking the med work, I think, and some sloppy play with not giving plays at crucial times has been disappointing. 2 minutes 50 on the clock, and the Axis team just set up around the old MG area, just covering this bank out in the courtyard. Artillery down on the steps in Australia, really not penetrating that courtyard at all, TosspoT.
No, and they've got Shaggy making his way down the truck slope, joined by Iceman. They've made their way forward, but they're about to run the gauntlet of landmines, and it'll be Knight's landmine that does the damage on one, Utir's MP40 does the other. What the Europeans are doing is they're setting 3 guns up and just shooting down anything that moves. They've got the medwork to back it up, and nothing is getting through that courtyard right now, as Utir comes up with a Luger frag. Hans Mollman dies via the truck barrier, as now we have Butchie making his way forward. Knight pushing up, and the European spawn must be imminent as they push up here. And I think it's credit to the Australians that the Europeans did fall back there and did give it a full go, because once I saw that MG42 come out, I was concerned that the Europeans were going to just be messing around for the end of it, but it hasn't been the case. They fell back, and they're really giving it their all to make sure that these Australians don't pick up that gold.
Indeed, we do have the barrier taken down. That's the truck barrier. It's been planted and destroyed. Axis running 3 minutes 3 minutes, so they won't be rebuilding that anytime soon. As Rico pushing forward, he's got Haste behind him. They're both medics pushing through that gauntlet. Past the boxes, mines are set off, but Haste and Rico still alive. Haste pushing into the bank, Rico behind, both packing up. No one in the bank for the Axis, so we are going to have a grab of the gold, TosspoT.
Yeah, Haste picks it up. He's going to make his way out the back door of that bank. He's got Urtir waiting for him. He downs Urtir. Hans Molman coming up with a frag on the other side. Urtir's been picked up by the Med, as now Haste will be shot down in the back by Marv, who will return that gold. And well, for just a moment, it looked like the Aussies had a game on there. They'd taken down that barrier, and if they'd secured that gold, they would have had time to move with the truck away. But it wasn't to be. However, credit to the Australians. They are still fighting, and they do look like they can match these European guns.
Well, I think you're being a little bit complimentary. We do have to admit that it's going to be a full hold here. Australia is not going to be able to cap these 44 seconds on the clock. It's just impossible. But at least we have had a grab of the gold, which some people weren't predicting.
Well, I mean, we've seen more from the Australians than we have from the Americans, so I think that it's good to see that the Australians are really making a challenge of this, and as they pick up 4 quick frags there, Haste is going to get another grab on that gold. 23 seconds to go. He won't be able to move it away in time, but he's looking around the back of the bank, no one there, and maybe he's been given the all clear from Shaggy to go. Iceman 34 picks up that Thompson frag, and here come the Australians. They are going to get that gold in the back of that truck, and well, it's a dignity cap, says 40, and that's exactly what it is that truck moves away, and well, it'll stop dead, but 15 minutes will be the time, and well, I've got to say, I don't think you should be too upset by the Australian performance there. I mean, if you take out that middle stage, where they just got bogged down, they really were a match for the Europeans.
Yeah, look, I'm happy with how we went. We had some talk of Australia not being able to grab the flag on Supply Depot and not be able to grab the tank, and we showed that we can play at times, but there's certainly a big difference in skill there.
Well, I mean, if you compare it to the Europe versus American games, then the Australians are a long way beyond what the Americans were offering, and I think though Supply Depot is going to be a different case, because when Idle play Supply Depot, of which we have 3 players, no one can do anything, because they do what I say is killing off the map. They can kill it off on that first and second stages and just make sure that no one can get out of there. They just simply cover all the angles, and there's no point the Allies even being on the server. So I think Supply Depot is going to be a tough one, and the Australians are, well, they've got their defense now on Axis to see what they can do on Gold Rush. So take us away, Rogue.
Live in 2-1. The match is about to begin. FICO's the call. We're back in the game. 40 calling out for the mortar. He needs more of that. As the Europeans now on the Allied team, they're going to try and beat that 15 minutes. We've got 1 player pushing towards the front. A few guys going around the side. 40 takes down Shaggy with the landmine. Oh dear, Shaggy, not your finest work there. So we've got a couple of players from Europe. It's Knight with the rough grenade, spamming around that side. He pushes in. It is Knight versus Hands. Hands picks up a kill now. 40 takes down his teammate. Not his finest work. That won't be going in the highlight reel. As 40 now pushes in, picks up a kill, and the European team have got that side covered, TosspoT.
Yeah, they do, but the 3 players have made their way forward. They lost a few lives, but they're back up and running as we have the revives coming in. Cott leading the assault, joined by Butchie. Knight's going to go to that tank right now. Australians lose 40, the last man standing, and that tank is up and at him as the Australians will spawn back. Right, a good spawn time for them. They'll get away just before the Europeans can fully get down there, as now we'll have a battle on the stairwell up towards that MG42. Haste is in trouble as Marv looks to have his number. He picks up the frag. Teco and Knight both coming in with big old frags as they make their way on forward. Now we've got Urtir up in the tank as he will guide it through, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any Axis resistance. Iceman has got a move on the tank barrier, but it hasn't gone up, and the Allies have taken down the command post as well, so not looking good for the Australians.
Not at all. Impressive shooting from Teco. A beautiful work from him. Took a few out from spawn. I think he picked up 3 kills last spawn cycle. Pushes down to the spawn. Not so lucky this time. Haste would just respawn. Took him down. Manages to get the gearbox go. Tapped out. Pushes in. Haste is taken down in the spawn. And Rico's in the spawn as well. Looks like they've given up that whole middle stage. Just trying to protect the spawn now, TosspoT.
Yeah, they are, and the problem is Cod is launching down a sport fire right on that Allied spawn. He will just have missed the timing on that one, actually, as Shaggy will come up with 1. Rico comes up with another. Marv wants it up onto Shaggy, but and he's not going to be picked up either. Butchie's going to make his way forward. Iceman, Lugering versus Butchie, and well, as he runs around left, right, and center, Butchie is going to be picking up that frag. He took some damage, but that tank now to the MG42 is about to be well, taken down by the fire for effect on that bridge, maybe, as the Aussies grenade up to it. And, well, we're already at the bank stage with just 2 minutes and 20 played. And the Australian side are in a whole world of trouble right now, it's got to be said.
They said with the tank there, the Europeans, it's pretty much a case of whatever you can do, Australia, we can do better. They stormed in, grabbed that tank very easily. 12:20 on the clock, and they're already pushing it towards the bank. Australia really forced back to almost behind the bank. No pressure on the courtyard as we've got a few Europeans pushing forward. No, with the rocket grenade. Marv has a medic with him as well to cover kill. I spent 34/kills, so the Australians will be respawning, but Cott's there as a build-up. He gets taken down. Shaggy there. Low health, so Europeans all over it at the moment, TosspoT, as Erdia picks up the gold.
Yes, he does, and the Europeans camped out that spawn. Shaggy versus Ertia for the gold. Shaggy will win out. He sat himself down on the doors of the bank and just screamed, Lord of the Rings style, you shall not pass, Ertia. And, well, he couldn't say it twice as Butchie picked up the frag and is now going to grab those gold. Cott comes up with the Tombstone to haste, and the Australians are all out for spawn.
They are, they've just respawned now, so we've got 3 players pushing towards the truck. 40 is a medic. Looks like Haste and Iceman 34 medics as well, so they're just camping around the truck at the moment. 40 has thrown down behind a little structure there, trying to hide, but Knight saw him, got the grenade kill. Beautiful work from Knight, gets taken down by Haste. No, on top of the roof, taken down, but the Europeans with Takoa leading the charge towards the truck. He's joined by Erdia, and it looks like the Australian resistance is going to be taken down. Not sure where the gold is, TosspoT.
No, I haven't seen it either. I guess it will come over the back of the bridge. Knight double support fire is going to pick it up, and here comes Butchie with that gold. He will make it home into the back of the trunk and into the back of the truck. And yes, the Australian resistance has been taken down, but it's not finished as 40 goes for the construction. They've got to push that tank forward. Hans Ballman comes up with a crucial double frag with that MP40. Tekor and Knight will finally silence him. 40 still standing prone behind the back. He doesn't get the construction, but it was so close. He was prone behind the back, and none of the Europeans had any idea where the hell he was. And, well, it's a nice try. Close but no cigar as the Europeans move forward.
Disappointing there for 40. Almost got that build on the barrier, but it wasn't to be, and the Europeans taken down by Hans Moleman. Fortunately, he's just delaying the inevitable Rico/kill, so the Australians will be up with a respawn pretty soon, but it's Cott who's moving that truck, dancing around the truck with Hans Moleman. They're doing the tango, and that truck is moving towards the packs. Finally, Hans taken down with the pistol, but the Europeans with Takoa take down Hans. Butchie comes from the truck spawn, and that truck is just rolling away past the packs. Beautiful time here from the Europeans.
Yeah, it really is. The Europeans are storming on through, and that truck is up and away as it has passed the MG. Butchie is home, and whilst the final frags go in, Haste and 40 are going to pick up a handful of them, and now the time is going to be, well, the objective is going to be completed, and the time is going to be 5 minutes and 21 seconds. And, well, that is map number 1. Going to the Europeans, we have Supply Depot coming your way here on Inside the Game with Gamester Rogue and ITG TosspoT. We will be right back. We're going to take a brief song break, and then we'll be live with map 2 in just a moment. That's right, you're Inside the Game with TosspoT and Rogue from Gamester Radio. Rogue, we've got Supply Depot coming your way, and what can we expect from the Aussies this time around?
Well, I'm hoping they put in a better performance, but I'm fearful that it could go a little bit worse than it did on Gold Rush, to be honest.
Well, you know what? The reason I'm so sort of complimentary to the Aussies, even though they did just sort of get spanked, is because they really were shooting back, and they really were offering something that, you know, in these transatlantic matches versus the Americans, the Europeans didn't seem to get. So we'll see, as we're going to get this one underway on Supply Depot, Rogue.
Yeah, TosspoT, take it away. I'm just having a little bit of computer problems, but I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, here we go. We have Knight making his way forward, joined by Butling. Both there poised to move, and here they go. One is going to be Knight as he makes his way forward. Doesn't look like the Australian team are going to self-kill out quite the way that the Europeans always do. There were 3 self-kills, but often in a European game you'll see 6, as the Europeans really planning this whole raid based on the Australian spawn time, and it looks to have backfired somewhat. Knight's the last man standing, 2 Garand frags. He's on this bottom level, 40 cuts him down, and that is it. So, tell me, Rogue, what was your interpretation of seeing all those European players just sitting, waiting on a spawn time that never really came? Well, Rogue isn't there quite at the moment, so we'll carry on anyway. As Iceman and Shaggy come forward with a frag apiece as they make their way on in. Marv is there, and Marv will come up. 40 double rifle A to that back wall. Tekor and both blown to Kingdom Come, as now we have Tekor been picked up, and Butchie Urti all making their way forward. We've got 40 still firing on all cylinders. Ike comes up with a grenade frag, and well, the Australians resilient to the last as they push forward. Now we're going to have Rico making his way on, joined by Hans Molman, and the two of them will pick up a frag apiece. Marv goes down on that bottom level to Ike's MP40. Knight will make his way down. Rico, MP40, Iceman joins the fun, and here is Ike coming up with another MP40 frag, and well, this first stage supply depot defense really has been resolute. The Europeans have got down onto that bottom level, but they haven't been able to get down and boogie, and well, we'll see. And well, Rogue, are you still with us at all?
I am indeed. I'm still here. Just going to jump back on the server. My AT crashed.
Would have been good if I'd noticed that, as I should have just hit the spectator button, but I'm sorry. So, we have Marv making his way down, grenades coming on in, and now 3 self-kills for the Australians, and that's what the Europeans were waiting for. Knight tries to Jihad bulldoze down his way in towards that bottom level. It's not going to happen as 40 comes up with 1 frag. Cott making his way on in. Butchie is going to go down, but it comes at the expense, and Cott is going to make his way... No! Cott will self-kill. Decides against making his way on towards that middle level, right as the Australians regroup, respawn. Sorry, no, they haven't respawned. They've got 9 seconds until that, as a fire for effect goes down on that main entrance. Ike is there, and Knight will come up with a grenade frag onto 1. Cott's going to go down, but then Ike will avenge Knight on that bottom level, and with almost 3 minutes played, the Australians are matching the Europeans blow for blow right now as a middle-level assault comes in. We've got Iceman going to have to be holding on here as they go on in. It's Cott on the other side. Cott has been a real menace on that middle level, but as he comes forward, Butchie, Tekor again, and they will now. Surely the Europeans cap that flag. They've picked up all the frags. It's just Iceman with 1, with 2. Is he going to go for 3? He makes his way forward. Finally, Urtir shuts him down, and the 4 bunker has been captured. But for some of those idle players, this will be a strange feeling to know that with 3.5 minutes played, they've only just got the dynamite in the forward bunker down 40.
They've constructed a command post.
Rogue, are you there?
I am. I'm certainly proud of the Australians. TosspoT, they're doing well so far on supply. Take it away for me as I'm just joining the server.
Sorry about that. As 40 opens that door, and Knight's going to make his way on through. It didn't allow any other ally players to make their way on in, and the Europeans are going to lose Knight to Ike's MP40 fire, and well, Ike's a new name to this Australian team in this second half. Where was he in that first half, and why has he been picked for supply depot and not the whole game?
I think they just wanted to run the 7 guys that were available, so Ike has come in, and he's a good player. I'm sure he'll do okay, although his ping is a little bit higher than the rest.
And which team does Ike play for, and where would anyone have seen him from before?
Ike plays for Adversus, who won the last 2 Game Arena championships, so they're the top dog in Australian team. He's from that team.
So what happened to the Modus reign of supremacy? When were they dethroned by Adversus?
Certainly a shock to the Australian players. Modus they were expected to make the grand final 2 seasons ago. They got knocked out by 40's Redux team. Adversus went on to win the grand final, and then Modus Operandi failed to make the next grand final after everyone thought they'd be out for revenge. Well, they made the grand final but didn't win it, so Modus Operandi have been knocked off by the Adversus team, led by Iceman 34, who's playing in this game as Australia. just around the ground post, Erdia rather, is just around the ground post, so Australia just going to lose that, but we're holding okay at the moment, Australia.
Yes, certainly. 9:44 on the board, and the Europeans have, they've just grabbed up that command post and will be spawning there. The truck is just on the tip of the hill. As Dynamite goes yellow on that main entrance, it's Knight that's in there, and there's no Australian resistance this time around. Knight gets it unscathed, as now a grenade may just drop down on his head, as he will go down to the rifle nade and support fire, and, well, the Australians are now trying to make a move. Will they go in for the defuse? 40 is poised to move. He's waiting to see if the Europeans are going to go on in, and I think it would be a helpless task if we were to go to that Dynamite, so he will fall back, and the Australians will regroup, and with 9 minutes and 8 on this one, the Australians are really still in this map with some time to go, as a grenade comes in from 40, and the Dynamite will go in on the steeper wall from Knight. Well, the Australians really making a count of themselves here, Rogue.
Yeah, they are indeed. It's just under 9 minutes, as you said, and we've got a plant on the east wall. The west hasn't been blown open yet, so just that depot gate. So it looks like Takoa leads the charge in with the truck. He gets taken down pretty quickly. 40's landmine doing the job, as Marv is taken down by Knight. Not so great work from the Europeans, as support guys down outside. Walk there. Todd picks up a nice kill on Shaggy, and the west has been planted, so this is a little bit better.
Yeah, it is, and now the sideball blows. Urti's going to pick himself up Thompson frag, avenged by Rico, as Knight will come up with a grand frag on to 40, and that Australian side are just leveling themselves in, and they all can fall all the way back. It looks like Ike has certainly made his way up towards that top level, and he will either be... Oh, Knight's already in, and that's why Ike fell back. I didn't see that. Nice work from him. He saves the day for the Australians, as Ike now was going to come on up, and Iceman 34 will come up with another frag, and Hans Bollmann's fallen back, and the Allied truck falls into positions, and Cott is going to just hold the top level for the Europeans. He doesn't know that there are two Australians waiting for him. One of them goes by the name of Hans Mollmann, waiting on the inside. Rico is about to get sandwiched from both sides, and as Hans Mollmann is going to be under the fire from Marv, Urti will pick up the construction, and the first gold crate will fall into the back of that truck, and, well, what was looking like a great time from the Australians may just slip away from them.
No, it's a very dangerous time for the Australians at the moment, as it's Rico chasing that truck. Erdi gets taken down, so Europeans don't have anyone around the truck at the moment, as Takoa takes down Rico. Beautiful work from him. Now we've got 40 taken down by Knight with the Garand there, I think it was. Beautiful work, and the Europeans just driving that truck on past the back spawn. It's going to round the corner towards east very soon, TosspoT.
Yeah, it is, as the Europeans will round that first corner. Urti wedged in the back, Butchie's looking at that first spawn exit. Ike comes up with an MP40 frag onto Marv, but 40 has gone down. Axis fire for effect is in on that main entrance. Butchie, Takua raining in MP40 frags. The FFE that rains in on the back of that truck still hasn't quite finished off Urti, but it will at the second bite, as it takes down Urti and Butchie, the two Germans. Does take down the remaining Australian player, that was Ike. And maybe there's still one more standing. It is going to be Rico that's up. He picks up an MP40 frag, but Rico is not going to be able to defend that main on his own. The Australian group and respawn as that truck exits the main entrance and is now going up that hill. Hans Mollmann not giving up the chase, picking up an MP40 frag onto Urte, and now the Australians swarm forward, cut down in the back by Marv, and now Knight and Teko all joining on the fun. And the Allies may now have got that truck away, as it is actually no one driving it. Teko is going to come up to the back and move it along, and it does look like they're going to be setting about a 9-minute time or just over.
Yeah, nice work from Australia there. Looks like the truck is temporarily stopped. It's going to be moving on its way now. Erdi on top of it, and making sure he's going to drive it home. There's some consolation kills that go up. Shaggy picks up a couple. Or just the one looking for a couple, but the time beats him as he was running up the hill there. And the clock's now set to 9 minutes and 8 seconds. A decent hold from Australia.
Yeah, it certainly was. Looking at the frags, Australia coming up with people on 15, 14, and 13 frags. Top fragger for Europe was Knight, 16 to 19, and Marvy getting in on a good ratio at 11 to 9. But pretty even Stevens as the frags are separated throughout the board on that one. But well, the Australians now are going to have to come up with something special here, because what I like to call is killing the map off is exactly what three of these players are trained with lethal force to do, and that would be the Urti and Knight and Tekua combination. Is that they can just pick up the win on this first stage and nullify the rest of the map. But we'll see. We've seen such a thing happen before, and it be reversed. And Marv is one of the few players that has reversed it. Amenti versus Netrunners, if any of you remember that game where Netrunners threw a supply depot away despite having the game in the bag. And we'll see. We're going to start this one up in 13 seconds. And, well, this is Australia's last chance, Rogue.
It is, and I know they're very keen. I just spoke to 40 briefly, and he was very happy with that hold, so we'll have to see how they go. Still a lot of work ahead of them as Australia on offense, hoping to beat that time of 9 minutes and 8 seconds. The match has started 9 minutes and 2 on the clock right now. Australia looks like a big push, but Knight picks up a rifle grenade kill just in front of that truck. Beautiful work from him. First blood to Knight as Hans Molman camping around the broken gate there.
Yes, Hans Molman is going to make his way down towards the truck exit. As now we've got Butchie going down at the hands of Rico's Thompson, and Australia have picked themselves up 2 frags so far. And what has been a slow start, Hans Molman makes his way in towards his bottom level. Will be allowed to get underneath the box and men himself up. He's got Luger out, and Urt is going to just swarm round. And Iceman 34 can't quite make his way in towards his bottom level, as now we have got Rico backing away 4-5 players all in the vicinity there. Cuts grenade frag down to 1, and here come the Australians right on European spawn time. Marv's going to be blown away by the grenade of Ike, and Rico pushes forward. Oh, the Australians are swarming over the Europeans right now on this bottom level. It's down to Knight and Tekwa to save the day. Tekwa is still standing almost on full HP. The Allied side have capped that forward bunker, respawn up, and are all over them here. Rico has arrow to boot as well. It's all on Cot and Knight as they make their way forward. The Axis team will just reclaim that forward bunker. And, well, what can the Australians do about this space that they now have?
Looks like we've got a plant going down on the bottom. Yes, it's Iceman 34. Picks up the plant on the bottom, then slash kills and respawns. Hopefully he's going to pull out the Panzer. No, it's the rifle grenade. Trying to cover that plant with the rifle grenade is Iceman 34. Sitting up near the truck. The European team pushing forward now. It's Erdier as an engineer. Gets cut down by 40, I think it was. 40 picks up 2 kills. And the Australians are going to hold this dynamite. 10 seconds left. And the Australians moving that truck forward. Beautiful work, TosspoT.
Brilliant stuff from Australia as they push forward. They're going to claim this first stage, taking just over about a minute and a half to get it. And they are back in business as they make their way forward now. Hans Molman and Ike are going to go on in as grenades will come up right between the 3 of them. Tekwa claims a hat-trick of the grenade frag. It's going to be Shaggy, Rico, and Ike all blown to Kingdom Come. Urtiz support fire downs Tekwa, and well, that's the thanks he gets for ending that Australia attack with a bang. And now we have got the Australians pushing back forward. Fire for effect laid down on to the peak of that hill. And well, that was exactly what the doctor ordered for the Europeans, because if that attack had worked, then boy, would the Europeans be in trouble.
It was beautiful work at clutch play if ever I've seen one. Perfectly placed grenade, perfectly timed. Took down 3 Australians, and the Australians were swamping that command post. And now the Europeans have had a chance to build it, get set up. Looks like Ike taken down. Hans Molman, the only one up, going around through the broken gate, trying to push towards the command post. Tekwa takes him down, down to low health, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be able to pack up. Rico camping behind the rock, takes on Marv. Rico slash kills, avoids a death there, and just over 6 minutes, Australia have been held up here at the command post stage.
Yes, it is, and now we have Hans Molman, Iceman making their way forward. Rico's going to go on in. Shaggy will be picked up at the hands of Ike, as now Iceman and 40 will pick up the frags as they go. Marv was able to push forward, pick up 1 before self-killing on the respawn. The command post may just be in Allied hands now as they edge their way in. It's only Tekwa there. The Dutchman is poised to make his way in. We have the command post now in Allied hands, but Tekwa's going to make his way in unless Iceman can stop him, and he does with the Garand. And, well, they need to get that Satchel charge in because the Europeans are going to try to reclaim it. I think they should just dynamite it here. They've wasted about 20 seconds just hovering on it, so a dynamite may well have done the job, but the Australians have respawned and will make their way on in. Ike survives the fire for effect, and well, the Australians haven't been able to get their covert ops over just yet, but 40 is there, and he is wielding the Satchel charge. If he can make it out of there alive, he takes the time to grenade, and, well, now he will finish the job, but the Allies are back over there with 3 players, so I think they've missed an opportunity here on this command post, taking so long and focusing all their goals on actually building it rather than just taking it out of the crossfire.
couldn't agree more. We had the engineers there. They should have got the plan down. Teco, once again, only picked up 1 kill, but it was on the covert, and that has saved a lot of time for the Europeans here on this middle stage on Supply Depot. 4 minutes 40 on the clock, and the Europeans, after a poor start to this round, have just been in control. Beautiful play from Teco. Picks up another Iceman 34, gets the rifle grenade, but taken down by Butchie, I think it was. Earlier pieced him up. No, it's a Tekoa, so just holding around the command post. We've got 3 Europeans there at least, and the Australians have got 5 players up. They're going to try and get it pushed together, but the support from COD takes down 40, the covert ops. Not sure why it's still a covert.
I was about to ask about that.
Drop that for now.
Yeah, he was sitting on the entrance to the tunnel and just sniping away. He didn't land a single frag, but I was a little bit surprised to see a covert ops still reigning supreme. But I think maybe he's worried that the Europeans are going to pick up this command post because the Australians still haven't built it. Urta comes in with a double support fire and a team kill support fire as well, as Rico has made his way down towards that main entrance, but he is not an engineer. And well, the Australians are just falling off the back of this wave right now, and time is starting to play against them.
It is indeed only just over 3.5 minutes. It looks like Knight has actually sat back. He was down towards the depot gate. Probably could have gone towards the command post and had that built, but he's pushing towards the spawn now, trying to get some landmines down, so this will be interesting. He's got the grenade out now, waiting for the spawn. Throws the grenade, and it doesn't manage to get a frag.
Nice try, but close but no cigar, as Teco is going to make his way back, and Utir is patrolling this. And yeah, I've said it since Supply Depot has been brought in, that all the command post is for an Axis defense is it is simply a point of crossfire. You control it so you can lay down 2 avenues of fire from main and from the command post on towards the Allied spawn. And that's all the Europeans have used it for here. They haven't even bothered to pick up the command post, which now Shaggy has finally built. And the Australians missed a trick there. They focused on the fact that they had it, rather than the fact that they were taking out a part of the crossfire. And the Europeans rebuilt that crossfire and pushed the Australians back and maybe killed this game off. The Australians really have zero time to be wasting, and they need to get main planted right now.
That's right, and Samadhi goes down. The engineer from Australia has gone towards the east. Only 2.5 minutes left, so I'm not sure that's the right decision. Probably too hard to get a plant down on main at the moment, but it's not really going to get us anywhere. I think we certainly have missed the trick. Looks like 40 was it who got basted over there off the rock. Nice work from him. Flank goes down on the main gate. Who it is? It's the man Ike who's been subbed in for Supply Depot. Gets the plant down. Knight trying to get the defuse taken down. Beautiful work from Australia. We have got the plant down on the main gate. Knight's been taken out, so we shouldn't see a defuse here from the Europeans.
Yeah, very nice work there, and well, it's definitely Ike that has been has caught my eye a lot on this map for the Australians, and I'm surprised to see that he was one of the players not playing on the first map and not given both maps out to run out. 3 seconds left on that dynamite, as now the truck will be pushed forward, and well, the Australians now, they don't have time to get that build up unless they do it this very second, and I can't see that happening. But Shaggy's going to make his way in. He's decided to guard the truck. No, he's going to make his way through that main door. Knight and Cot will combine to pick up that frag. And well, who knows what could happen if Shaggy made it up there. He's still waiting on a revive from 40, and Rico may be able to come on in if they can come up, but it doesn't look like so, as the Europeans have respawned and have that main entrance pinned down, and the truck has been stopped in dead as well. So it is going to be 2-0 for the Europeans with 1 minute and 3 to go. But the Australians have certainly given as good as they've got here.
Well, look, it's been a decent effort. It's probably better than many people from Europe predicted, so that's good to see, and it's always good to know that we've gone better than the Americans. As the truck has been put into position, the Allies have activated the crane. It's all for nothing, though, but our dignity.
I didn't even know they had the build on, so that's impressive that they got the gold in the back of that truck, and, well, they may well be able to at least get it around one of those corners as they push forward. Iceman's come up with a Garand frag and a kill on Knight, as Cot and Teco will make their way on in. Rifle nade bounced up from Iceman, as he's going to claim another frag. Marv goes down this time. Allied Axis respawn is imminent, as Iceman will round that first corner with the truck, and, well, your dignity is intact, I would say, Australia, as not only did they get the gold in the truck on Gold Rush, but also on Supply Depot. With 7 seconds to go, they will round the second corner, and well, it's got to be said, yeah, well played both teams, says Angelus, and the Europeans have been taught a thing or two here, as the Australians have shot back, which after playing the Americans so many times, there was just a hint of arrogance from some of the Europeans, not expecting much from the Aussies.
Well, beautiful ninja work from Iceman34, did his country proud, ninja'd in, got the build on the controls and activated that crane. It was too late, the Europeans were probably rambling forward, but it was still good to see, and we did indeed put up a fight, which was what we wanted from the Australian team.
So, Rogue, tell me, what if one of the European spectators saw this game and are thinking, well, I'd like to find out more about Australian ET. How can they do so, and when is the next match they could watch?
Well, the season's going to be starting very soon. The main competition in Australia is Game Arena. We've got about 45 active teams, so that's where all the action goes. And GameStar.com is where you go to listen to the Shoutcast and grab the Shoutcast and demo packages if you want to watch some of the games. So GameStar.com if you want to catch a look at some of the Australian ET plays.
And is it going to be another season for Adversus, or do you anticipate a modus revival?
I think Modus Operandi are a fixture in Wolfenstein in Australia, and I hope they can come back and try and put up a fight. But at the moment, Adversus are the second team in Australia. They've got some of the best players. Their players dominated this Australian team tonight, and I think we'll see them right up there once again this season.
And what do you compare this current Adversus team to the Modus team that went to QuakeCon? Any team, which one would you put down on paper as being the better one?
I think that's a very tough call. It's always tough to try and compare teams from different eras. What I will say is that Adversus are the only team who have won 2 consecutive GA championships. So they're probably, arguably, the greater team, although perhaps ET is less competitive these days. Tough call.
Well, great stuff. Rogue, thank you very much for coming on tonight, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Thanks for having me, TosspoT. It was an honour, and certainly enjoyable to Shoutcast with you, and perhaps we can do this once again if the Europeans want another game later in the year with Australia.
Sounds like a date. You've been inside the game with TosspoT and Rogue from Gamester.com, and we have been on air for just over an hour now of what has been a compelling tournament between Europe and Australia. The demos will be surely on GamesTV.org, and there'll be some match reaction on Crossfire.nu. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to play one song and say goodnight. So, see you later.